Okay, good people. It's me, good old Motown Morris Mays, and we've got Jackie, Chitown Taylor, and we're hosting the Detroit International Fireworks right over here on the east side of Detroit. What's going on there, Chitown, baby?
Oh, hey, Morris. This is wonderful. This is beautiful. Look at it. Oh, to see to the right.
Yeah.
You see that they have the fireworks going there. And then in front of us, that is so beautiful.
You sound like a real host.
I just love it out here.
What I love mostly about it is that after the Detroit International Fireworks is over with, and then once the 4th of July happens, from this point to the 4th of July, that's when you see the whole city over there all lit up. Not them downtown, it's when the people do it, it's when it really look good.
Okay, when you're seeing it in the streets of Detroit.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's give everybody a good area view, because check out what's happening at Belle Isle over there.
Oh, Lord.
Are they partying back or what?
Yes,
They partying back over here at Irma Henderson Park?
Yes, they are.
Let me see if I can zoom it in some. Well, since it is nighttime, we might not be able to see exactly what's transpiring over there at the aisle, but good people, the folk is out. The people are out and they're in good spirit and they're ready to party for these fireworks. I want to tell you something though. I wish that the people would come out with the same kind of enthusiasm when we're downtown fighting serious issues, trying to keep an emergency manager from coming to Detroit. What you done to me? Hey, y'all hear me in the background trying to sing? This is the Detroit International Fireworks, good people. And I thought I'd share this with you. I hope it turns out really nice. Yeah, what I was saying before I left was that I just felt that people recognize this day and this date as the day for the fireworks. But when we have serious, very important issues, meetings at the city council and very important school board meetings, I just wish people would come out for those very serious issues that could free us up from corruption. I wish we could have the same kind of enthusiasm to go to a council meeting and fight for the right, to have the same kind of enthusiasm for that as we do for the fireworks, because you see people coming out everywhere. We need people to share that same kind of passion and enthusiasm for when we're fighting downtown to free ourselves up. You know what I'm saying, good people. Okay.
We could get the people to come out like this for the fight for Belle Isle.
Right.
The fight for our city. The fight for the truth. What a wonderful city this would be.
I made you get nervous. I was.
Oh, you in my phone.
Oh, you're okay.
I'm starving.
Yeah. Oh, Jackie Chitown Taylor was sounding so good. I wanted her to just keep it rolling, but we got some fish over here. And cool things to drink. And fun party stuff.
Catfish and macaroni and cheese and collard greens with turkey.
We black people. Okay. Hey, good people, fireworks it's jamming.
Look at it. Is that not wonderful or what? That's what I love about the holidays.
Yeah.
Is that you do get a chance to enjoy yourself.
That's right.
And put aside the politics and the anger and the emotions and have a good time.
And have a good time.
And then we'll start this fight up again tomorrow.
That's right.
But for today, we're going to enjoy the fireworks. We got them to the front of us, and we did have them to the right of us.
Oh yeah, that happens. After this event here, every night up until the 4th,
Right.
you're going to see all of this. All of this over here is going to be full of regular Detroiters having their own fireworks. And so you're going to see the
okay.
whole city lit up. It's going to look like Paris
Okay.
at nighttime. Unbelievable. And I enjoy the fireworks put on by the people of Detroit much better than I do those folk downtown with the Detroit International fireworks. Because it's done by the people, you know.
Absolutely.
But this is the big time event here, of course.
Where everybody is out.
And you saw how we got tied up on the freeway.
themselves.
We had to go.
And I mean,
Hit
the
10 freeways.
freeway was backed up. Oh my goodness, that was a ride and a half trying to get here from a couple of blocks away.
Oh, it's getting big. Now I remember one time when they had the
Ooh, I
fireworks.
love it. Uh-huh.
It could have been in 1998. I'll never forget it. This was the fireworks when it ended with these two big purple balls of fireworks, and it looked like it was coming at this building 3D, and the folk over here was screaming and everything. It was coming at us,
Really?
and they never ever done that again. I hope they do it again this year.
Oh wow, look at that. Just look. Just look. You know, this is what Detroit is. This is what Detroit is capable
Whoa,
of.
that was that's right.
And we just want them to care about the city the way they do about Midtown, Michigan.
That's right. Well, I always say any kind of shortcomings or any kind of human frailty that we may have, yeah, we're responsible for it, but I think the corruption downtown far supersedes any kind of little wrong that we could do.
Absolutely.
We're basically good people trying to party for the
That's all.
fireworks.
That's right. That's right.
And they're kind of messing my party up because I'm on the patio. It'd be nice if I had a grill to slap some ribs on here and make it a real party.
Right. I sure started to get the ribs because they had the rib and chicken dinner. And then they had the catfish dinner.
Mm-hmm.
And so I couldn't get them both. And so I went with the catfish dinner. But now that I'm standing up here, I'm thinking, should have got the barbecue ribs and the chicken because they won't let you barbecue out here.
I'm glad you thought about it though, cuz we over here in the penthouse, and I'm telling you good people, a brother ain't got nothing in the fridge. Just the other day, I went inside the fridge looking for something, knowing wasn't nothing in there, trying to invent something in there. So I'm glad you thought enough to get that fish, because we're going to be getting our grub on for real.
That's right. I'm telling you, they put enough food in that plate for 3 or 4 people.
Oh, we cool in the game. Man.
Right, yes we are. Yes we are. And we didn't stop and get, we should have stopped and got some more drinks though.
Oh, you ain't lying. We were so busy trying to get back here because all the streets are all jammed up.
Yeah.
And the city of Detroit had the damn nerve to close down lanes on the freeway.
Had one lane open.
Knowing that people trying to get to the fireworks.
Oh my goodness,
And that's how we got twisted. We were stuck on the freeway for about a half hour. We had to come up on side streets and side streeted back over here so we can get back here to share with all of you the fireworks.
That's right. That's right. And you get to see just how beautiful the city is. Right.
I like seeing the people out.
Yeah.
You know, seeing all the people over here at Herman Henderson Park and all up and down Jefferson, and this is just the east side. People are throughout the whole city with the view. You can see these fireworks from Canada, from west to east, north and south.
Everywhere you went at the corner, people had their setups.
That's right.
Ready for the fireworks. We saw people barbecuing on the corner.
That's right.
You saw cars lined up with everybody sitting on the top of their cars, waiting for the fireworks to start. It just gives you such a warm feeling to see everybody on this day coming together.
That's right. I think I saw about maybe 20 grills, barbecue grills.
Yes.
Folks posted up on them grills and
they
throwing them ribs together.
That's right.
You think Jefferson Avenue was lit up the way you see it now.
Right.
I couldn't even deal with Jefferson trying to come over there and get you. I called myself, being smart, and I posted up on Lafayette. And that's where I saw grill at the barbecue grill, and the folk were out to enjoy the fireworks.
They are having a good time. Detroit is truly having a good time. You can hear them blowing, everybody just is just really, really, really enjoying
Oh,
this.
check out the battery.
Oh.
Yeah, maybe in about, I don't know, about maybe a minute, about 30 seconds, good people. This battery is gonna be dead. But guess what? I got a good one, a brand new one, charging right over there in the charger. And I'll be putting that battery in there in just a minute.
That's right. So when this dies,
Yeah.
y'all turn on channel 4, channel 2, and channel 7, although I don't endorse any of them. As a matter of fact, I don't watch TV. I am so glad for the internet. I am so glad for YouTube. I can see whatever I want, and I'm not forced to watch or listen to anybody. But for now, when the battery dies, of course, you're gonna have to go to some other venue to get this beautiful sight downtown.
Okay. Okay, good people, we're back. I had to put a new battery in so that we can continue to enjoy the wonderful Detroit International Fireworks. I'm gonna zoom in some so that we can get a better picture. It should be coming to a close soon. I think we missed a little bit of it trying to get here. We got all caught up in a traffic jam. For some reason, the city of Detroit saw fit to close up lanes on the freeway and have the freeway all jammed up. Lodge and I-75 and I-375. So we got off of one freeway and got into another one and got jammed up. So we had to side street it on back here, and here we are. Okay. Y'all see how we do it in Motown? Okay, there, good people. It's me, good old Morris, and I'm here to share with you our fireworks. Oh, I'm sorry. not the fireworks. This is our 4th of July kind of celebration that we do in the city of Detroit. I like this event much better than I ever could enjoy the Detroit International fireworks that we had last week. I enjoy this the most. It's mainly because this is the fireworks done by the people of Detroit. So the folk are out and everybody's quite festive. Everyone's quite in the mood of having great fun, having all kind of great activity going on in the city of Detroit. It's a nice warm day today. It's kind of muggy the way I like it. It could have been about 85 degrees in the city, and we had a lot of humidity, which made it feel like it was warmer than what it was. Those are the kind of days that I enjoy the most. Really. Okay, check this one out, y'all. Check that one out. Okay, maybe it already. It's fired up. What happens on this day in the city of Detroit, this day is when the whole city is lit up and you see all kind of activity of fireworks going on throughout the entire city of Detroit. I'm over here on the east side of Detroit. And so having this view on the east side, I really can see a huge chunk of the east side of Detroit, and I can see the west side of Detroit, all of the west side of Detroit I can see. To my east would be the rest of the east side of Detroit, which I do not have a view of, but the view that you're looking at Detroit's east side, and on the other side of Woodward Avenue, you would see Detroit's west side. Let me kind of zoom in some here. So we can kind of catch a closer view of the fireworks, but the more we zoom it in, the less of a panoramic view that we're gonna have here. So maybe I should just zoom it out so we can get a larger picture. Yeah, like that. I don't quite like it that way so much, mainly because I hope you can see it. On the 4th of July, I'm going to talk to you about a lot of different things. Not just the fun stuff, people. The stuff that you don't want to hear. The awful, ugly ass truth of the kind of corruption that we are dealing with, people, in Detroit. And this corruption that we're dealing with in Detroit is nobody but the people in charge. Power in Detroit. We're talking about the various people in our elected positions of power in Detroit, many of whom were not elected in these offices. They were selected. But so many of us, we don't know this. We just don't know this, and it is no fault of our own, really. It is no fault of our own. But our city is corrupted real bad. Everything that the Honorable Coleman Alexander Young, the only real mayor that we ever really identified with and who identified with us, he was the only real power, empowerment, and kind of fair government kind of mayor who really loved his people. He loved the people of Detroit. And when he came to Detroit, all people were his people. We're talking about Coleman Alexander Young, the honorable only mayor who served 20 years as our mayor. Oh, those were the good days of Detroit. These days that we're living in now in 2013, oh God, I don't even recognize this world that we live in, because it has changed in the worst way. And when you look back going back to I call it the black period in time, the 60s and the 70s. Well, that was the soul period, the black period. That was a time to be black, and it wasn't perfect back then, but when you compare the way things were and when you compare them to the way things are now, it's just no comparison. The world that we used to live in was a better world. It was a much better world than this world that we live in today. So many of us, we do not know of all the corruption that we have in Detroit. And it is because of the corruption that we have in Detroit is the reason why we have so many problems in Detroit. If the city of Detroit could only just be left the hell alone, if we could just be left the hell alone, then there would be no problem, there would be no issues in the city of Detroit. I have total recall of the way things went down under the 20 years of the Coleman A. Young administration. Total recall. There were no homeless people walking around the city of Detroit. There were no homeless people like what you see in Detroit and like what you see everywhere. There was a wave of corruption that come in somewhere in the 90s, definitely in the 80s under the Reagan administration, the Reaganomics. To sum up Reaganomics for me, under the Reagan administration, I just sum it up by saying privatization, and that's it. To sum up the corruption that I'm talking about in Detroit, I can just sum it up just by saying the privatization of the city of Detroit. When you privatize your city assets, then it just simply means that the people who live in the city, and we're talking about Detroit, the people will be shut out of all those city jobs, those city contracts, those city job training programs, the empowerment of the people. So that's what corruption means in Detroit. There's so much to say. I'm almost really at a loss for words here. It's just so much going on. It's just so much to say. What I can say is Dave Bean, our Detroit City Council. They've done a number on us in Detroit. And for those of us who would sooner much rather blame the people of Detroit for the problems of Detroit, we would sooner much rather blame the people for everything that's wrong. And you're talking about a lot of people I love it. And as the night progresses, maybe I shouldn't talk politics. I'm having such a hard time. It was a bit easier last year. I was pretty much new at this now. I've gotten used to getting out here and making these videos, and I don't know, now I just feel like I'm at a loss of words here. But this is the 4th of July, 2013, as we celebrate over here on the east side of Detroit, my hood, where we're having our wonderful fireworks by the people. The Detroit International fireworks took place last week, and it was wonderful, but I enjoy this one much better because this fireworks here is when the whole city lights up from the east side of Detroit to the west side. And by my living over here on the east side of Detroit, I can see a huge chunk of our east side, and I can see all of the west side, all of it. And this is the way we celebrate our fireworks every year. I keep saying fireworks. This is really not the fireworks. This is the 4th of July. A week before the fireworks in Detroit, we have our annual Detroit International Fireworks. And I will be sharing that video with you. Well, in fact, it should be uploading right now. We're going into my files right now. And so I will have it on Facebook, and right now I'm just showing you the 4th of July celebration that we do over here in the Motown D. And I love this much better than I really ever could love the Detroit International Fireworks, because a week after, which is today, 4th of July, this is when the people celebrate, and this is when the people become quite festive indeed. This is when the people become very colorful in their true party spirit. Because you have to remember, this is Motown. And so the party people do come out for the 4th of July celebration. I really love it, and as the night continues, you'll see how everything just lights up throughout the whole city. This kind of celebration should happen every day in Detroit. It should happen every day. I've been all over this world. Back in my Navy days, I got a chance to see a lot of places as a young black man from Detroit. Over here, you're looking at the fireworks going on by the people. This is not the fireworks, this is the 4th of July. Individual people, festive moment. They're over there at Belle Isle having it. And over there on the other side of Belle Isle, you're looking at Windsor, Canada. And they do their share of fireworks as well. Back over here on the far east end of Belle Isle, they'll be having all kind of activity going on, and you kind of see the people over here on the far east of Detroit. This is the far east side, yeah. And they love to get down over there too. Right over here on the east side of Detroit. There's something very special about the east side of Detroit, because when black folk was pouring into the city of Detroit way back in the early 1900s, that's where most of us landed. Right over here on the east side of Detroit, where so much history was made by us in Detroit. And over the years, Detroit became that major city in America that was a predominantly black city. And the kind of black empowerment that we had in Detroit, it was second to none. Truly second to none, and that's no joke. Detroit became a very important place for black folk, and it truly became the best place in the world to be black in America. Good old Detroit. But Detroit is under siege. Hey. Detroit is under siege, and it's up to us, people. Hey. It's up to us to get ourselves up from under. It's up to us. Hey Detroit, if you only knew that you were supposed to make your local city politics a part of your life as everything else is in your life. You know what I mean? My wife, your husband, my girlfriend, your boyfriend, my job, my home, my house, my vacation, my family reunion, my party, my this, my that, and the other. These are the kind of things that we make a part of our day-by-day, daily activity in life. And we wake up every morning to the same routine, and we find ourselves participating in so many other day-by-day stuff. But where we made our hugest mistake at, people, good people, it's just by not realizing that our local politics is also something that is supposed to be a part of our day-by-day life activity. There's more to life than just picking up the children from school and bringing the children home and raising the children and running the house and being a good husband, being a good wife, and just doing all the things that we do. But we never ever deal in our local politics that can make us and that can break us. And at this point in Detroit, I'm sorry to report, good people, that we are being broken in Detroit. And we're being broken on purpose. The shenanigans that you see going on at the City Council, our Detroit City Council, with Council President Charles Pugh, with the shenanigans that he's got going on, it's only going to hurt you and me, Detroit. He'll get paid off for giving away the city of Detroit, and he'll go his merry way and just say to hell with us. And what about Gary Brown taking a job with our emergency manager that was force-fed on us to be our dictator, to be our czar in Detroit? We've been force-fed the very law firm that he works for. They support the very banks that put Detroit in this crazy, what is beyond crazy, kind of bond debt. We have them here in our government. A total conflict of interest. They're connected with the banks. They support the banks, Jones Day Law Firm. We're under siege. And if we only knew that we were supposed to fight this, and it takes more than 50, it takes more than 100 people to put a stop and bring this kind of misery. It takes more than just a handful of people trying to be the voice for the entirety of a city. It takes much more people to get involved in the real struggle. And the change that could be made is unbelievable. Don't you know everybody could have a good quality of life in the city of Detroit if everybody were involved and participated in their city government, in your local government? City council meetings are open to the public. Our presence is supposed to be felt at our council meetings, at our school board meetings, our water board commission meetings, our charter commission meetings, and all of these different meetings. And if we have the misfortune, if we really have the misfortune, and it would be quite unfortunate indeed, that if we got shit twisted so bad, it'll take us right out of knowing what's really going on. And we'll find ourselves being black people in a predominant black city that is over 90% of black people. And that is something to be very, very proud of. And that's nothing to apologize for. The fireworks are very beautiful. I love it. Because this is done by the people. shows a certain kind of spirit in the people that I think should be felt every day. The fun time, the festivities, this is the way it used to be damn near every night in the D. But because of corruption, the kind of liberation, the kind of festive moods of a city, the kind of fun-loving towns, the kind of good quality of life that you have in a city, you can't have it, and you won't have it. And you will be totally void of anything like that when you have corruption in your city. And when we talk about corruption in the city of Detroit, we're talking about Dave Bean. We're talking about our current Detroit City Council and our last our past 5 Detroit City Councils and our past 20 years of mayors in the city of Detroit, starting with Dennis Archer, Kilpatrick, and Dave Bean, and the interim mayor, Ken Cockrell, who replaced Kilpatrick. We had nothing but corruption. And what does it mean? It means that these people intentionally privatized and bankrupted the city of Detroit. They have intentionally gutted our city. And for those of you out here who love to point your finger at a lot of people who's far less fortunate than you are, you would sooner much rather blame them for all the ills of the city. And that's a crying damn shame, good people. When you have politicians who you did not even vote for, who have been destroying this city by the way they vote at these council tables and all these damn tables, and they put the city under. And the first person you blame is Billy Bob and Shaniqua and Ray Ray and Marquavius, because you felt like their neighborhoods should look better, their homes should look better, they should take better care of their property, they should be good black people. And it's usually you good Christians, you so-called good Christians, you're the main ones who talk like this, who talk this kind of self-righteous, holier than thou. Oh yeah, you good Christians, you do this. I love you. Hope you love me too. But this is the way you talk. And you put down your own people. And these very politicians are cracking up laughing at you because you don't know who to blame. Now, I know who the hell to blame. I'm blaming Dave Bean's punk ass. I'm blaming that punk ass Detroit City Council that we have down there. I'm blaming the sorry ass governor who has been doing nothing for the past 30 damn years of wreaking nothing but havoc on the city of Detroit. And so many of you good black people who used to live in Detroit and you went to the suburbs to live out there and really feel good about yourself. And you get out there and you take on the mindset of suburbia, and you would have the nerve, you would have the gall, really, to put down your own people in the very communities that you come from. And you wonder why do they look the way they do? Well, you abandoned your city. You were supposed to speak up and be community oriented right where you lived at, right where you grew up at, right where you had schools and where you had every opportunity that these young people today don't have. So you can't say it's bad. It was good when you were here. You graduated from the Detroit Public Schools, and here you are, you're 50 now. Well, if you graduated, when I graduated in class of 79, and those years back then, you walk around like you're really somebody. You got it going on. You've made it, you've arrived. You feel good about yourself. But you went to the Detroit Public Schools. The very school system that you criticize and you put down. You don't get mad when they close up all of these schools in Detroit, because you don't live in Detroit no more. You live in the suburbs. And you're all too happy to have white neighbors, And and there's nothing wrong with that. The city of Detroit is a city full of all people. It's a predominantly black city, but there are white people who live in Detroit. We have Mexican Town over there on the southwest side of Detroit. It's a lot of Latino, Puerto Ricans, Mexicans, and people from other Spanish nations live right over there. They would probably be about, I don't know, a good 50,000, could be more. I'd say about maybe 3 or 4% of the people in Detroit. City of Detroit is predominantly black, y'all. Most cities, have a more diverse population of people. Detroit is different. Black folk poured into this city, real strong. And maybe one day I'll give you the story of how we became this major black town. I love it. Many white people left Detroit because we had a black mayor, and they just didn't want to have a black mayor, so they left, and they moved to the suburbs. That's how our suburbs grew. But then black folk just got so damn uppity when they felt they have arrived, like in the 80s and coming out of the 70s. Somewhere in the early 80s is when black folk went suburbia crazy. When the main goal was just to be successful. It was to be successful. And if you lived on the bad side of town, in every city, there's always the ghetto. There's always the hood. But there's always the better side of the city. And you got a whole lot of that in Detroit. So many people felt like they had to leave Detroit. In my mind, if I'm growing up in the hood, and we got some sure enough hood in Detroit, a whole lot of that. But in Detroit, you have a whole lot of beautiful neighborhoods and a whole lot of great neighborhoods where anybody would want to live. Great neighborhoods. So it would seem to me that the main objective here would be to make your way out of the ghetto and then move to the better side of the city, where there are other black people who live right over there in these strong black, real nice neighborhoods in the city. But you never leave the city. So these folk who arrived, they just said, well, I'm going to just bypass what's good in the city. And so many people are so limited in the way they get around in the city. There are so many areas of the city that many people don't even know about, and they've been living in Detroit for all of these years. And so I've heard so many people who left the city, and when they found out about many of these really nice areas in Detroit, they were shocked that they were living here in Detroit all of these years and just knew nothing of all of these wonderful neighborhoods that we have in Detroit. And many of them felt that had they known, they never would have left. But when you arrived, when you felt that you really arrived and you really achieved, okay? You achieved. It just hurts my soul when so many people in Detroit, I don't know, just felt that they had to leave the city. And so you did what so many white Detroiters did. They left the city because they didn't want to live in this city full of black people. And then you have so many black people who left out of Detroit because they too did not want to be around their own people. And when you go in these white communities, they aren't necessarily trying to be feeling you neither. Hey Detroit, it's me, good old Morris, and I'm here to share with you our fireworks that we do in the hood throughout the whole city. Last week we had our downtown Detroit international fireworks over here in the greater downtown area of the city. Today is the 4th of July, 2013. I enjoy these kind of fireworks much better than I ever could enjoy the Detroit International fireworks, because these fireworks here are done by the people of Detroit. And you can see the fireworks throughout the whole city. I'm over here on Detroit's east side, and I can see a huge, large chunk of the entire east side of Detroit. I can see the whole west side, and we have fireworks jumping off. It was a warm day today. It felt actually warmer than what it really was. It could have been about 82 degrees. It felt like about 90 at some points of the day with all the muggy kind of humidity that we had. So it made it a bit warmer than what it really was. But oh, it's such a cool night. It's cooled off some, and there's a nice summer breeze. Real nice summer breeze. And I'm sharing with you the way we roll over here in Motown, y'all. Yeah. I love the way the city lights up with all the people's fireworks. People are feeling very festive, and they're in a good mood. They're in a good party mode. And the city is lit up with beautiful and colorful 4th of July fireworks by the people throughout the entire city. Now, let me slide back over here and see what's happening. Southbound of the city, we're looking at Belle Isle. And we're looking at the beautiful, majestic blue Detroit River. And I'm telling you something, there's something special about the Detroit River. We're looking at Belle Isle, our lovely island oasis park. It sits right in the middle of the majestic blue Detroit International River. And folk are having a wonderful time. They're having all kind of fireworks throughout the whole city. On the other side of Belle Isle, they're having all kind of fireworks, and they're partying back over there in Windsor, Canada, just right across the river. It's nighttime, and it's getting dark, but I love the Detroit River. There's a certain electric kind of blue color to it. I kind of zoomed it in. Okay, now we're looking at the far east side of Detroit. It's far east. And that's a real party side of the city. I grew up over here. You know, my high school is, just so much of my growing up and coming of age over here on the east side of Detroit. And this far east, oh boy. A lot jumps off over here. Put it to you like that. Got Belle Isle. And I love the Detroit River. Something special about this river. This is why the governor wants Belle Isle. Because take a look at this island here. I mean, this looks like the damn French Riviera. The Caribbean, Bahamas. Detroit is the Caribbean of the motherfucking North. Yes. And everybody wants everything that we own in our city. Everybody wants. They want Belle Isle, a multi-million and billion-dollar Detroit City assets. Because we have the wrong mayors in our city. They allow for the governor's people and all the corporation people to come into Detroit and just look at what we have in Detroit, and they just say, I want it. And if we don't get it, then Detroit is going to go bankrupt. And this game has been being played on us for over 20 years now. Anybody outside the city can come to our council table, and they can make all kind of legislation to privatize anyone or all of our major Detroit city departments that was supposed to hire Detroiters. But our city jobs in Detroit, they're going to everybody outside the city. Okay, I'm gonna zoom this thing out, zoom it out. And I'm gonna take a little break, and I just like to rent it for a little while. I'm gonna take a little break, but for now I'd like to just share with you the way the city of Detroit is lit up. It's really lit up on the 4th of July. This is when the people come out and they're in very festive mode, party mode, and this is when the city really comes alive on this night. I'd like to share the colors with you. Hope you enjoy. I'll be back in about 10 minutes. And they're good. And it's on in a minute. Okay, Detroit, I'm back. It's me, good old Morris, and we're having our Detroit 4th of July fireworks. Last week, we had our Detroit Downtown International fireworks, and it was all right, but I enjoy this one much better because these fireworks are the fireworks that is done by the people of Detroit, who are in total festive mode. Oh, you know what? I have to go check my cornbread, and I'll be back in a minute. Okay, good people, I'm back. It's me, good old Morris, at your service. Yeah, I had to go and, hey, make a rundown and check that cornbread of mine. You know, my cornbread. Love cornbread. I'm a black man. You know how we like some cornbread. Yeah, I had to go and do a double check on my cornbread, baby, but I'm back. And I'm sharing with you from the east side of Detroit over here in my hood the way we roll every year on the 4th of July. This is the 4th of July in Detroit, 2013. And we're over here in my side of town, the east side of Detroit. And I'm giving you a good view of much of the east side and all of the west side. The other side of me would be the far east side of Detroit. And I do have a view of the far east side. And maybe I should take you there. As they say, I'll take you there. I'm gonna take you there. Over here you're looking at lovely Belle Isle. It's pretty dark out here. Yeah, it's gotten a bit dark. Could be about, what, 9:30, somewhere around there, about 9:30. And over here we're looking at, you know I talk so fast, over here we're looking at the far east side of Detroit. This will be the far east side, and they party back over here too. My old stomping grounds, many of my high school friends and classmates and family. We grew up over here, and so this would be a total part of my growing up and my coming of age. And they love to do the fireworks back over here as well. Very party town, party side. Hey, this is Motown, okay? It's probably too dark to see the lake. You're looking at Belle Isle, and around now you see the Popo out there pushing people off the island. On the 4th of July at 10 o'clock in Detroit, we're under curfew. There's an ugly ass blue and red police lights on the island over there at the beach where I grew up at. And they're putting the people off the island on the 4th of July. In a party town city who has lost her swing because of corruption in the city. When you have corruption in your town, that's when every good thing in the city gets devoured by outside interests, and the people who live in the city, well, they would just simply be shut out of everything. Just plain shut out of your own city government, shut out of everything. That's what you're dealing with here. It's a sad case scenario, but it is what it is. Motorcycle folk. Yeah, they've got the spirit. I think these kind of festivities should be jumping off every day and every night in every town. It shows how alive people are. It does make me feel good to see all of these fireworks. It just lets me know that people are alive and trying to be alive and trying to enjoy. People having their own individual fireworks. And when you see it throughout the entirety of the city, Detroit looks like the city of lights. It's very beautiful. East side, west side, you have it jumping off throughout the whole city. You have it jumping off over at Belle Isle. You got it jumping off over here at Irma Henderson Park. You've got it jumping off over there in Windsor, Canada, in beautiful Belle Isle. And over here on the far, far east side of Detroit. And you got folk over here in the party mood, or just plain stone party mode over here on the far east side as well. It's a bit early now because somewhere around midnight. Midnight is when they really get to getting festive and having such beautiful shows of fireworks. It is very, very, very nice. It's a very beautiful night. We have a nice summer breeze. It's kind of cool, but it's still very comfortable. Very, very comfortable. Okay, I'm gonna pause for the calls, and I'm gonna come on over here, and I'm gonna let the camera roll, and I'll be back in a flash. Okay, in a minute.